Hello again, good people of Room 8. We will continue with our gasoline line charts. This will be video 2 in this series. And in the previous video, we did a little bit of analysis of looking at monthly price trends for gasoline prices in Medford, Oregon over a 1-month period for the past 3 years. And so we came up with a line chart that looked like this. Today what we will do is take a look at gasoline prices in Medford, Oregon, and Houston, Texas, and we'll do it for the last month. And we picked Houston because I thought it'd be interesting to take a look to see how Hurricane Harvey had an effect on those prices, and maybe if they had a similar kind of effect in Medford, if any at all. And so we're going to create a line chart. Line chart looks something like this: two different charts. The blue's Medford and the orange is Houston. And one of the new things that we will learn here is how to format this axis here, this vertical axis, the y-axis of our chart. We'll actually change the values so that it'll force our chart to appear a little bit different than will appear when we first go ahead and put the values in. We're going to force it to start at a particular value and end at a particular value rather than starting at 0. And then we'll also do a percent change and calculate the percent change for 1 month for Medford and for Houston. So here we go. This is what you're going to want to go ahead and create from a new page. And if you want, you can just go ahead and create a new sheet and then title it 30-Day Price Trend. Just like that. 30-Day Price Trend. And one of the things that, another thing we'll do differently here is that we use that alignment label character in the previous video. We're not going to do that this time. Simply go in fact, I'll just go ahead and redo this for you. And go ahead and delete those. And start with August 21st, 8/21/17. Check mark. And then just grab that fill handle and just copy that all the way down, and it'll fill in the dates all the way to the 19th of September 2017. There we go. So that'll save you some time. Don't worry about that label alignment. It's good that we learned how to do that. There are times where you'll want to format dates that way, or format any particular values as a label. So go ahead and get this information in. Pause the video so you can read that, and I will go ahead and scroll up. So that you can get the rest of it. Pause it where you need to. Okay, with that 1 month of data for both Medford and Houston entered, let's go ahead and create our line chart. Let's select the data for Medford. Insert. Line chart. Here, go ahead and right click. Select data. And let's go ahead this time and add our other series. We've got series 1 there. So we can go ahead and add series 2. And we'll go ahead and call that Houston. Series name's Houston. Series values, click the collapse button and select the Houston values. Back to our edit series. Click OK. And then let's go ahead and also give Series 1 a name. So we'll click Series 1, Edit, and that, of course, is Medford. Okay. Now we need to put some dates down here on this 1 through 30. So that's going to be our horizontal axis. Edit. Click our dates. And there are the dates. And click OK. Let's see what we have here. That looks good. Click OK. Make the chart a little bigger here. Now, we take a look at this chart. It's really not all that impressive. We're trying to get something that looks like this, to where these changes are a little bit more dramatic. Here, because the data is so spread out and our scale is so large, the lines appear to be fairly flat and don't really reflect some of the changes, or it doesn't appear to be that big of a deal. And so what we want to do is change the values of this scale here so that it will magnify or be a little more dramatic when things change by 3 or 4 cents per gallon. Right now the change just doesn't appear to be that big, and the reason for that is because our scale is starting out here at 0, and so there's large gaps or large intervals between our dollar values here. So we're going to change the scale of our vertical axis by first selecting it and then right-clicking and choose Format Axis. And then our Format Axis window will appear, and it gives us some options to change the values as far as our beginning value, our ending values, and the intervals in between those values. So let's do this. I think our maximum price, we might get to $3 a gallon or pretty close to it. So we'll make our minimum price to be $2 because we never go below 2. So our minimum value $2, and then I just said the maximum value doesn't get over 3, so we'll make that one, well, there it is right there, 3. We'll leave that at 3. And then we'll have an interval of 10 cents, 0.1. And so let's see what we have here. $2, $2.10, $20, $30, $40, right on up. And so now you can see that we have a much more dramatic change in our line charts as the prices change. So let's go ahead and give this a title, and we want to give it this title right here. So I'll leave that up on the screen for you. 2017 gasoline prices, Medford versus Houston. And I'm going to click on that and just cheat a little bit there. And then we can right-click, move the chart, make it a new chart. Medford versus Houston. And I'm going to put a B after it because that's the second time I've done that particular one. And there we go. Now, once you have that done, let's take a look at this and see what we can see here. This Hurricane Harvey occurred, I believe it made landfall around the 25th, 26th of August. And so that's here in this zone right around here. And you can see that in Houston, gasoline prices were pretty flat, not changing much. And then all of a sudden this hurricane hits, there's a little bump. And then the aftermath of the hurricane, the recovery and rebuilding, the demand for gasoline is certainly going up, and at the same time, a lot of gasoline is produced in the refineries down in the Houston area, and the refineries sustained damage, and so they were in a shutdown mode for several days. And as a result, it creates this shortage. At the same time, demand is increasing, and so the price went up quite a bit. And so it looks like it's leveled off some here since that time as they go through their recovery phase, but it's still staying pretty high relative to where it was. So it's gone from essentially 10 cents a gallon up to about $2.35 a gallon, so 25-cent increase there or so. And so what we'll want to do, actually, we're going to go back here in just a second and calculate the percent change of that price from this 1 month period, from the 19th of September to 21st of August. Now notice here, prices in Medford are typically higher by quite a bit. Now, I guess it would make sense, right? If you think that, well, the gasoline's produced in Texas and it's right there locally, that overall their prices are going to be cheaper in the Houston area and compared to the Medford area. And so here's our prices for the last month. But notice here the price did go up somewhat as a result of, I'm assuming, the hurricane. I mean, it did kind of track the same type of trend that is occurring here. There was definitely an increase, and then it went back down some, but then we've got this kind of steady increase, and so we can also calculate the percent change from here to here. Certainly, it's not as dramatic, not as much of an increase, but let's go ahead and calculate the percent change so that we can compare these two changes in gasoline prices on a standard scale. So go on back to the worksheet that we were working on right there. Type in percent change, and I'm going to delete that and just do that calculation with you. Percent change. So you will recall from previous video, new value minus the old value divided by the old value. So what we want to do is subtract the price on the 19th of September and the price on the 21st of August for both of these cities and see which one had the biggest percent change and how big that change was. So equal sign, parenthesis, there's our new value or our most current value, minus the value on the 21st. And you can see our formula being built right up here also, even though you can't see it down here. It can also work from this location right here. So I'll put a parenthesis there. And then we want to divide that right above the number 8 on the 10 keypad, / divided by the old price. And I'll scroll down here. And there it is right there. And enter. Well, look at that number, 0.031578947. Now, if we were to round that to one decimal place, what would be that percent change? I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. You will recall percent per 100, 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. So we want to move 2 decimal places. Do we want to move 2 to the left or 2 to the right to convert that decimal value to a percentage? And the answer is yes, we want to move it to the right. So that's going to give us 3.1578947%. We don't need all of these figures. So we can come up here and just click on the percent, format, and then increase by 1. Notice it's a positive value, so that indicates an increase. So the price of gasoline over the last month in Medford, Oregon increased by 3.2%. Let's do the same thing for Houston. And what you can do is simply copy this formula over to here because it's using the same amount of values in this column. So you can grab the little copy handle here and just drag it over And there it is. Already formatted. 16.2% increase in the price of gasoline. Clearly, the price of gasoline went up a lot more in Houston, and we will just assume that it was most likely because of that event that occurred last month with Hurricane Harvey, causing widespread damage. And we've talked a little bit in class. Imagine what life would be like without gasoline. Pretty difficult to carry on. And so the last thing we will do is take a look at how much it would cost to fill your vehicle a month ago on August 21st versus how much it would cost to fill it on September 19th. And we will utilize these percent increases to help us with that calculation. So step one, go ahead and type in this information, tank capacity, and we'll use 20 gallons for each vehicle. If you have too many decimal places here, just come up here and reduce them right there. So if it looks something like that, just come over and decrease your decimal places. So 20-gallon tank, and then you can put in the price on 821, and then we will calculate the cost to fill up your vehicle on 821. And this is price per gallon, by the way. And I'll need to make that column just a little bit wider there, like that. Price per gallon, we'll abbreviate it. And so then the total tank cost on 821 or a month ago, and then the tank cost on 919, which is current price. So 20-gallon fuel tank, and then we need the price per gallon on 821. So we can scroll back up to the top here, and there are our prices. We can select those. Control-C to copy. If you don't want to type them back in again, click here to put in that range of cells. Control-V to paste it. And so the first thing we want to do is then calculate how much to fill up your tank on August 21st. And that's a pretty simple calculation. 20-gallon tank times $2.85 a gallon. $57. And we can click that dollar sign right there. In fact, we can do that for that one too, so we know we're talking about dollars. And then in Houston, to fill up that same vehicle, 20-gallon tank times $2.10 a gallon. It's only $42 to fill up the same vehicle in Houston 1 month ago. So now let's calculate how much to fill up after Hurricane Harvey, a month later or so. So what we will need to do is increase the $57 by 3.2% and the $42 by 16.2%. So to do that, we will first need to take 3.2% of 57, which will calculate the amount of increase, and then we'll need to add that right back to the $57 to show the total amount to fill up that vehicle. So we're going to need to use the parentheses to control some operations here. So equal sign, parenthesis, and the first thing we do is to calculate the amount of change based on this percentage. And so we're going to take 3.2% of this number, and you'll recall from your math class, you take percent of a number, and that's going to be multiplication. So it's going to be this 57 here in B40 times the 3.2%. And so put a parentheses around there to do that calculation. And then after this calculates and gets us that value, we want to add back the tank cost from 821. So $57 times 3.2% gives us an answer, and then we add back the $57, and that will calculate the new tank cost, $58.80. So it looks like we increased by $1.80 in that 1 month time period. Let's see how much it increased for Houston. Equal sign. parenthesis, let's take 16.2% of $42. And then add the $42 cost a month ago. $48.80. So clearly a bit more of an increase in price. Let's find out exactly how much that is in dollars over that month period. So here it is on September 19th minus the cost on August 21st. So $1.80 more to fill your tank in Medford over the last month. In Houston, the increase is $6.80 more. So quite a bit more as a result of the Hurricane Harvey in Houston, Texas, and how it affected the gasoline prices during the last month. And one last item of business, a final challenge to you to end video 2 here. Calculate the percent change, and if you want you can put it right here in column D, right in this location here. Calculate the percent change to fill a tank in Houston on September 19th versus August 21st. How much is that percent change between these two values? And put it right there in D41. And I will come around and check that out and see how you do. Once again, percent change between this value and this value. See what you come up with.